Hello and welcome to Create Crochet with me, Rebecca. In the last video we created this small granny square. In this video we are going to be continuing this but adding on a different colour. Now to do the different colour there are various different ways to do it, but the way I do it is to simply tie it on. So you get your new colour of yarn, put it through your original loop, and just tie it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Done. Put your hook through the pink loop and just pull, and there you go. That might need to be moved around just a bit, otherwise I'm going to have a really big loop to work with. So you'll just move it round, just grab hold of it and pull it round that loop. To make this loop smaller, I pull on the pink one and just do that, and there you have it, attached new yarn. You might have to fiddle with a knot just to make sure it sits right. So you've added on your new colour. We need to get up to round 3, so it's the same with every single new round. You chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Not happy with that pink one, I'm just going to pull that a little bit tighter, and there it is. So you've chained 3, and as always this chain 3 counts as your first double crochet of your cluster of 3. So now we only need to do 2 double crochets, and as with the previous round you work in the next 3 chain space. You've done this round, you don't need to worry about it or work into this anymore. Okay? So you work where your work has just been, into these spaces here. So we're going to work straight into this one here. So we're going to do 2 more double crochets. One, and 2. Sorry, my phone just went off. Next we need to get to this space here, and instead of chaining 3, which will create a corner, we go to this chain here, this 3 chain space here, by chaining 1. 1. And that gets us to this next 3 chain space to do our 3 cluster of double crochet. It's at this point that I am safe and secure that we are done with this pink. So I'm going to take my scissors and cut it off about there, because we're going to sew this piece in later. Okay, so I can now completely get rid of the pink. So we're going to continue working around. So we're going to do a chain 1 to get to this next chain space. So you're going to go chain 1. Always hold your work in this hand just to keep it steady. Yarn over into this corner. So you're going to do 1 cluster of your 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3, and then you need to do your 3 chain to create your corner. 1, 2, 3, move them out of the way, yarn over, and into the same 3 chain space here we're going to do another 3 clusters. If you didn't change colour, if you want to do the same colour all the way throughout, just go up your 3 chains for your first double crochet of the next round. And that's your next corner created. So we're going to come to this one, this space here, by chaining 1. So if you're going across like this, you chain 1. It's only chain 3 when you need to create your corner. Okay? So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to 3 double crochet into this space for our next cluster. By the time you finish this blanket, you will be an absolute master of chaining and double crocheting. This is how I started crocheting and adapted the granny square for many, many different things. So that's your next 3 cluster. To get to this one, it's chain 1. For 1 double crochet, two double crochet, three double crochet, and then chain 3 to create the corner. 1, 2, and 3. Back into this same space here for another cluster of 3 double crochet. Yarn over into this gap here, through 2 loops, 1, 2, through 2 loops, 1 and 2. And that's your next corner done. So chain 1 to get to the next space, as we are not doing a corner, into this space here. Oops, forgot to go yarn over. That's 2. That's 3. Chain 1 to get to your next 3 chain space. Yarn over and through. And now we're going to do our 3 chain again, because we need to create the corner. 1, 2 and 3, and back into the same one that we've just created, that cluster. 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 1 to get to the next 3 chain space, which is this area here. That's your 3 chain, sorry, that's not even a 3 chain space, it's your 1 chain space. Yarn over and through, and through, taking 2 off, taking 2, and 2 loops, chain 1 and back into this 3 chain space to create your 3 double crochet cluster, and then we'll create the last corner in the green. So that's your 3, and then you chain 3 to create your corner. And again, you need to find the top of your first 3 chains. Now this is where we changed colour. So we go 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to pop mine in there. Yarn over, pull through once, pull through twice, and that is the beginning of your blanket, and you can really see it starting to take shape now into a traditional granny square. So we're going to change colours now into the blue, and it's exactly the same process. When you change colour, don't chain 3 to go up onto the next round, otherwise that next round will have your last colour incorporated in it. So all we do again is hook out, new colour through the loop, and shorten that loop off a little bit. And the way I did that was I held onto the corner of my work here, holding it on a flat surface so you can control it. Hold the knot and just pull on the yarn, and it will create a smaller loop for you to work with. And all I do is just make a normal shoelace tie it on nice and securely, put my hook through the green loop, just pull that knot round a little bit, and make my green loop smaller to work with. I now change that by holding it in my fingers, and now working on the blue, I can chain my 3 to get up to my next round, 2 and 3. And we're going to do 2 more into this 3 chain space to create our first cluster. That's 1 double crochet. It's got a knot in it. And this is our second double crochet. So including the 3 chain, that is our first cluster with our new colour, because that first chain 3 going up counts as the first double crochet. Chain 1 to get to our 1 space here, take through 2, yarn over, and take through 2. through 2 and take through 2. Our last one of this cluster, yarn over. This piece of yarn is going to go under these 2 loops here, once and twice, yarn over. This yarn over is going to go through these 2 loops here, 1 and 2. Chain 1 to get to our next 1 space chain. Didn't go yarn over, in there, through 2 and through 2. That's 1, 2, and 3. So now we come back to our corner. So chain 1 to get into this space here and do 3 clusters. And then chain 3 to create the corner, and back into the same gap for your next 3 clusters. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them and I will try and respond to everybody and answer all your questions. I know beginning crochet, it's a bit daunting at first. So that's how it's beginning to look after you've done your first row and your corner of your 1, 2, 3rd round. So this was your first, 2nd, 3rd, it's your 4th round. So we did 2 rounds of the pink, 1 round of the green, 1 round of the blue. You carry on going round and I'll meet you back over here. So I'm just about to go into my last one here where we created the 3 chain and then the 2 double crochet. So back into this hole here. Oh, and I've cut off the green whilst I was going round. Keeping that piece out of the way. 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, and again find the top of that first chain 3 space and slip stitch into there. So you're going to go 1, 2, and the top here is 3, and do your slip stitch. Now we're going to fasten off. So all you do is with the loop still on your hook, come along about that long and snip, and then just pull through the loop off the hook and just pull gently, and that is your first square completed. Now with the ends, I'm going to show you how to sew them in, because at the moment if you look at the back there are quite a few ends here. We're going to sew just one in just to show you how to do it. So here's how to thread in the pieces of extra yarn that you have from the cutting off and changing of colours. This is a metal hook. It's got a really large eye and it's quite thick. This is the sort of needle that you want to be looking for so that your yarn can fit through the eye of the needle really easily. The eye is where you put your yarn, this gap here. I know some people like to use plastic. I'm a metal kind of person. It's up to you, metal or plastic, whichever one you want to use. So you take your yarn through the eye of that needle. Now this piece is going to be too long. We are going to be having to cut it off a little bit more. Don't go across any gaps, because you will be able to see it, and you will have worked hard to see this one piece of yarn going across like this. Try and go back like that. Now when you put your needle in, I can't see it this side of my work and I can't see it that side of my work, which means you won't be able to see this tail end. And pull it through. And we're going to keep going around here. The reason why you do this and not just cut it off here is to make sure it's really, really secure. Okay, so now I'm going to go up. Again, I can't see the needle this side through my work. I can a little bit there, so I'm just going to adjust my needle just so I can't see it on either side of my work. That side or that side. And pull it through. And when you snip it off, take the needle off, grab the piece that you were just weaving in and pull so that your work slightly puckers. And you'll be able to feel when it's enough, because it won't pull anymore, and snip right at the base. Be careful not to cut any of your stitches, any of your double crochets. And then you stretch your work back out and you can't see where you just sewed that piece in. Check this side and that side and you can't see it. So do that with all of your strands, and that will be your first square finished.